Well, greetings once again, fellow modelers and enthusiasts of Star Trek, Titanic, or whatever you're into. I hope you're all doing well. I got another little Titanic model to share with you guys. You know, I've done some videos where I showcase my artifacts from the Titanic. And what I actually wanted to do was, there's no depiction. I don't have a model that's actually assembled. I haven't done a model of Titanic in a while. Yes, I will be doing the trumpeter in the spring, but it's so big. I wanted something that was, well, medium sized to put the artifacts and have a reference point to when I'm filming. So I know I showed you guys a lot of Titanic model kits. I got another one to show you today. This one is WINWIN. And I don't know, something just drew my attention to it. I had never heard of WINWIN before. So I got this, and I'm going to do a quick build. So I actually have a model for reference in my videos, because I have some more Titanic related materials to show you guys. And I'd like more than just the background, because I've been using the trumpeter background, but I actually like to use the model as well to have a full model kit of the ship. Got a beautiful illustration on the cover of the box. You see the smokestacks, all the rigging. Titanic had a lot of rigging. Display stand included. So, showing you guys the sides of the box. Now, I had shown you guys a model by, I think it was Wintech, where they also had kind of pictures on the side of the box of like the dining room and different parts of the ship. It looks like this is the private suite on the promenade deck. It could be the smoking room. Contains one unassembled model kit, easy to follow instructions. And you can see some of the information, really small print, the barcodes. And this is in 1/550 scale. Item number 99999. WINWIN, made in China. You can see the side of the box. Has that lovely depiction again. And on the other side, the opposite side, you've got the same picture that you've had on the ends of the box. And you got some information about the Titanic herself. In 1912, a miracle of shipping appeared in the world, measured 270 meters in length, 28 meters in width, and a maximum speed of 24 knots. The largest and most luxurious liner, R.M.S. Titanic, was built by Harland and Wolff. It could offer its passengers the most comfort and was considered unsinkable at the time. However, beyond people's imagination and comprehension, the maiden voyage of the ship, dreams, earned in a nightmare while people were celebrating this masterpiece. On April 10, 1912, with 2,200 passengers, Titanic began her maiden voyage from Southampton to New York. But 4.5 days later, the world had changed. In the evening of April 14, 1912, when she voyaged to the Atlantic Ocean, a huge iceberg collided with this famous liner. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, within 3 hours, the great liner sank with 1,500 souls into the darkness. Now, if this sounds familiar, I have read you something very similar to that on other model kits. So, all the information, the box, and looking pretty good is all complete. So why don't we take it over to the desk and we open it up and I'll show you guys what's inside. Alright, so we got the tripod all set up, and first thing I'm going to do is we'll take the plastic off. There we go. All right, let's open her up. Nice. Let me show you guys what's in the box. First thing, we've got the deck, the midship. You can see the, oh, and the propellers are on this too. You can see the propellers, the 4-blade, and the 2. Of course, the 4-blade goes in the middle, and it's the turbine. And the 3 blades are on either side, the reciprocating engines. And you can see the name plaque, R.M.S. Titanic. It's very, very reminiscent of the Revell 1570 kit. You can see, looks like rat lines, perhaps ladders for the smokestacks. You can see the anchor crane. So let's move on to the next piece. Whoa, this is unexpected. Check it out, guys. You can actually see it's got what appears to be a motor. And there's a couple of tubes. I don't know if they could be glue and maybe some kind of lubricant. You see the elastic. We've got a motor. Let's see, we got the pretty nice base. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but it almost looks like a brown wood color. This is a beautiful base. Geez, it looked like it probably can be used right out of the box without painting it at all. It's very nice. Put that aside. And let's see, we've got the aft section of the deck. Let's see, the benches and where the cranes are going to go. Over to the side, you can see the tops of the smokestacks. And let's see, we got the bridge, the wheelhouse, and we got the smokestacks themselves, looking very nice. And there's 2 of them, and you can see another part of the decking, perhaps the promenade deck or the front. You can see the staircase. And at the end, you can see we've got some vents. Very nice. And this looks like the final white tree, white plastic tree. You can see it's got the bow, the cargo hatch, and where the cranes are going to go, where the anchor chain is going to go. And you can see the chains are molded into the plastic. And then you've got the compass tower, and it looks like it could be a flagpole. I'm not sure what that is. And you've got where the propellers are going to attach on the secondary hull. Secondary hull. Sorry, I'm thinking of the USS Enterprise underneath the hull. And you've got the masts below that. And let's see, it looks like we have lifeboats on this tree. And we've got what could be a deck. And there's another smokestack over here. And you can see there's more cranes. So that's what's in that part. And then let's see, we got the hull itself. And it's got some nice cardboard protecting holders for it. You can see the hull. So this is just about the same size as the Revell 1570. You can see the bilge keels on either side of the bottom. Now I'm going to light this, and there's a lot of portholes that need to be drilled out. You see more portholes up here at the stern. I don't know how accurate these portholes are. See how they go all the way back. But this should be easy to light, because I'm going to light it. I'm surprised the little motor is a little bonus, because it didn't say anything about that on the box. You can see the inside of the hull, probably where the equipment is going to go, the batteries and the motor mount. So that's the hull. Let's see if I can put the hull on top of the box without that falling. And the last thing in the box is the instructions. You got a nice picture of the Titanic on top. And the information on it is the same thing that I read to you on the box. Maiden voyage, the ship of dreams. And then it goes into the instructions. If you want to install the motor-driven model, please cut off the shadow part of the tail as shown in figure according to the step 1, and drill point with the arrow indication so as to install the metal oar shaft and motor-driven rudder. Please stissid the motor-driven rudder at a proper angle, inclined to right or left. This model can navigate by water and around certain radius. Please stick the decals on the model in step 9 and 10. So it's looking like this motor could be for the rudder. I don't know, we'll see. You can see the pictures, the motor mount. Let's see. Then we move on to step 1. And you saw getting all the decks ready, the bow and the stern decking. Part 2. You can see the vent. It shows you the paint, how to paint it. E, or that's part E, excuse me. You can see the formation of the cranes and the rear observation deck. Part 3, putting the cranes up on, looks like could be B deck or C deck. So this isn't really a difficult model. You see the formation and all the details that are going on to A deck or the boat deck. You see the lifeboats and the compass tower. Moving on to step 5. Looks like you finish off the top decks by putting on the vents. Moving on to part 6. You can see the collapsible lifeboats, more venting. Part 7, putting the finished deck onto the hull. And then part 8, we move on to the smokestacks. You see the ladders and the tops. So that looks good. Moving on to part 9. You can see put on the propellers. And it shows stickers, but I don't see any stickers with this kit as of yet. Step 10 is the base. And like I said, it looks like the exact base from Revell. And what's nice about this model is that you actually have the rigging lines. It shows you the rigging. It's not all the rigging, there's more rigging than what it's showing, but it's still a good basic knowledge as it goes down to the Marconi room. And that's the instructions. Now, oddly enough, I didn't get any decals. So let's go back to the little bag. We'll open the little baggie up. Let's see. And it shows you, I'm thinking that this is some kind of lubrication. And looking at the motor, basic little motor. And I'm not sure if this is glue or not. Could be glue. And I got to be careful because there's little screws in here. So here is a metal shaft. It could be for the propeller shaft. So let me put it back in the bag. And you've got a screw. There's a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3 screws. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. It's really small. And let's see, we got the rudder. That's a really neat idea, if the rudder is movable. I don't see any way to control it though. I don't see an on-off switch. Put that back in the bag. And you can see what looks like it would be for the mounts for the batteries. Up, there's 4 screws. There's another screw right there. And let's see, this looks like another piece for the batteries. It goes into the bottom of the ship that I had shown you, and this is another one for the other one. Let's see what else we got. Oh, here, okay, we've got a switch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to light this ship, so I'm going to show you guys how to light it, or how I'm going to light it. So the switch is going to come in handy. It can go onto the base. And let's see, what is this? We've got some wiring. I'm sure it's to wire up the motor from the batteries. And what is left? We have 2 of the propellers. Now, I only have 1 shaft. One shaft came with the kit, so is it, I'm thinking it could be the middle one that would end up spinning. You can see the propellers. Those are the 3-blade, there's no 4-blade. And then you've got the flexible tubing, and I'm thinking that the shaft is going to go into that with the lubrication. And the motor and the 2 tubes. And that's it. There's no there's no decals, unless the decals are in something that I'm overlooking. Let's see, we got that. Nothing in there. We got the parts tree. We got 3 parts trees. And we've got the base. And we have the hull. So that's everything that's in this kit. There is no decals. So I'm going to have to do it by hand. I'm going to have to paint them in gold by hand, so that shouldn't be too hard. Hopefully it doesn't look too terrible when I do it. But we'll go through the instructions in depth when I do the build. Let me show you guys. Alright, so when it comes to the motors, cut off the shadow part. So you got to cut off the back, because you guys can see it comes with the rudder already modeled into the hull. So what you got to do is cut off the shadow part of the rudder and stick the motor driven rudder inside the hole. Please drill a hole 1.5 millimeter when installing the motor driven model. You can see the motor mounts. Again, that'll go on the bottom. So the switch is going to come up through the aft section of the ship. You can see the switch. They want the switch to come up through, and that would be, looks like where that cargo hatch would be. So that's going to be cut. I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably going to just wire it to the base and put the switch in the base. You can see the way you wire the switch. You can see it's a series circuit. So you start with the switch, you go to the battery lead, then you go to one lead of the motor, and the other lead goes back to the switch, forming the complete circuit to make it run. So this is a little vague. Install a motor and switch on the motor-driven model as shown in the figure. When installing the switch, please evacuate the position indicated in the spare part. Then screw the switch on. Connect the motor to the battery box as shown in the figure. After connection, put in 2 pieces of number 5 batteries and turn the switch to see if the motor is running properly. So, and it goes on the bottom, before navigation, add some weight to the stern and sealing oil in the tail. So, it's to keep it lubricated and waterproof, and I have no intentions of putting it in water. So I might be able to use this instead of putting one of my own battery compartment battery power packs in. We'll see how that goes as the build goes on. But that's the instructions. Pretty basic. Alright, so that's everything that's in the WINWIN R.M.S. Titanic model kit. This is 1/550 scale. And if you guys were curious, or like me, had never heard of this kit before, you might see it on eBay. It might be inexpensive or a little more affordable than some of the other models. And the quality looks good. And we'll see how it builds up. Like I said, I'm going to light mine. And I'll do the rigging accurate to the actual ship. There was a little surprise. It came with all that stuff for the propeller, the center propeller, which would be the turbine to spin. It's got a lovely base. You can see the parts in the hull. It's molded in plastic for the batteries. And the motor mount. It's a lot like the Keytech that I had shown you guys that had the lights, the 2 LED lights, plus the motor for the one of the propellers. This one you can actually have the rudder be mobile, which is a nice feature. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. But the painting of this ship and drilling out the windows will give me some practice for the trumpeter that I'm going to be doing later. So if you were curious about the WINWIN R.M.S. Titanic model kit, I hope this satisfied your curiosity. And I'll start the build in the next video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill out all of the portholes, because I'm going to light mine. A very beautiful ship. So, next time you see this model, we'll be starting the build. So, step 1 will be drilling out the hull. So until then, I'll see you guys very soon.